we're just really excited about doing today's program, but we'll wait a few minutes to introduce that because I want to make sure we have all the family, especially Gert, with us.
Her phone is busy. Let's see if she's on the phone. She might have just gotten very nervous. Can you see anyone on the phone?
Not yet.
Yeah, here she is. She's on the phone. She must feel nervous. That's her number, 908.
Okay,
Mom,
let's see if we can take the
789?
time to help Gert get on the iPad, because if she stays on the phone, as you know, we can't see her expression on this whole thing.
I know.
Right.
Well, yeah, I bet she got nervous.
She's on mute. Gert,
Let me see. Can we unmute her?
No.
we can't. We don't have the power to unmute her.
Yeah.
She needs to unmute herself.
Yeah.
But can she unmute herself on the
Yeah.
phone?
Yes.
She can.
Yep.
Okay, I didn't know how to unmute. Jackie, how does she unmute herself?
Well, maybe Groms, maybe you can hang up and then my mom Lori will call you back and then she will give you instructions on how to log in with video.
But she
does it all the time.
Yeah, she's been on with the iPad, a long time. We have plenty of time. Let's just give her time not to be nervous.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
important that
got
she
it.
gets on. While she's trying to get on, we can talk about, the other programs that are
Okay, go
upcoming.
ahead.
But Lori and members of the family, if you could try to help her to get on, that would be great.
Issue is we can't really talk, Jackie. Well, how do we talk to her if you need to talk? In other words,
Well, she can hear you right now.
all right. Do you
She
want
can hear you even though we can't hear her.
right? Do you want my daughter to try to help her?
Yeah, I would suggest that, we have her hang up on her phone and try to get in on her iPad.
All right.
But we can't, I mean, she's hearing us right now, but she can't
It
call
looks like her
her
phone is busy because she's
Yeah.
on the Zoom call.
because she's
so
on the call, right?
Rams, just hang up the phone.
Gert, we're
Mom?
asking you to hang up your phone and your family's going to call you and help you to get onto the iPad so that we can see your pretty face.
Okay, Mom, you can hang up now. Don't worry. We'll get you back. Oy.
Would she see an email? She doesn't use her email enough.
No, she doesn't use email.
She did go to her own wedding, that I can tell you, but well, Barbara, what should we just move on? Because it is, I know people are on a tight time schedule, and if she can hear us, what do you think?
We have no indication that she can hear us.
Oh,
if she's on the phone, she can. If she could unmute herself, she knows how to do that. Gert, I don't know how to do it on the phone. We usually do it on the iPad.
Can
I
you,
don't
as a
know
host,
how. I know you can do it on the phone. You can mute and unmute. I don't know how.
Yeah, mute and
But maybe, Gert, can you hang up your phone and that way your family can call you and talk you through getting back on the iPad?
She's on a landline, so she wouldn't be able to mute and unmute like we would on a cell phone.
Yeah. So it's a button that she
Hey,
would have to push.
Barbara W.,
Yes?
are you the host of this meeting?
No,
Allison is the
I
host of the
am.
meeting.
Allison is.
Allison, could you, is it possible for you to right click on her box and unmute her yourself?
Nope, it doesn't work.
Oh.
All I can do is ask
Unfortunately.
her to unmute, but she won't see that. I'm just saying, I know we have somebody who calls into these calls. I mean, I'm talking about Arlene Smith.
Right.
She mutes and unmutes herself all the time. I just
I
don't
know she does.
But she may not be on a landline. That's the
I kind of think she is, only because this woman doesn't. I don't think she has
yeah.
anything.
Well, does everyone think my mom can hear us?
I do.
We do.
Okay, so
The only thing that makes me hesitant, usually people on the phone can hear us fine. The only thing that's making me hesitant is that I'm concerned that she hasn't hung up when we've been asking her to hang up,
Right. Why is she not?
responding.
I understand.
That suggests that she really can't hear you.
There's somebody who has a suggestion.
Tell her that there's a picture of a microphone. A
Well, she's
picture
not
of a
on Zoom.
microphone.
She's on a landline. She's not on a cell phone.
She's just talking on a phone. She's not on the iPad, which is really not
Oh.
And
good
not on
here.
a cell
Her
phone.
on the grand pad, but.
Is there someone
Yeah, call
building
her
that
on
could
the
knock on her
grandpad.
door?
Maybe you can call her on the grand pad.
That's a good
Oh,
idea.
Jamie, you have the grand pad number, right?
That's what I was talking about with the email, because I know she has that grandpad thing.
Hold on.
Randy, maybe Michael could go over there and help her, Randy. Ask Michael.
Yeah, but.
He's not there. Who
Right.
who else lives where she lives? If we have to.
I don't know
Seymour?
anybody in her building
I
who,
think Seymour Weiss lives in her building.
Jamie, you have her number, right?
Me?
Yeah, don't you have grandma's number? Because you video.
Phone number?
Try calling her.
Oh,
Seymour.
on the grand pad.
Seymour Weiss
Yeah, I
lives
can
in her
try
building.
calling on the grandpad. She
Yeah,
won't
call
be
her
there.
on the
I can do
grandpad.
that. Hold on.
wait, Seymour.
Yeah,
Randy,
Seymour.
is Michael home?
Dolly,
Can he go
we
up-
don't have enough time for him to drive over there.
Okay.
Allison,
Seymour
you're-
Weiss,
Yeah.
can you unmute yourself, please?
Okay, my niece,
Seymour, talk to me.
is trying to call
Okay.
her on the grand pad.
Seymour, you're in the same building as Gert, is that correct?
What is that?
Are you in the same building as Gert Schloff?
I'm calling her on the grandpad, but I don't know if she's gonna answer.
No.
She's not going to answer. I tried it already.
Okay.
Seymour, are you in the same building as Gert Schloff?
Jamie, you look pretty.
Oh, really? Thank you.
Yeah, you do.
I can't hear you.
I look pretty. Thank you.
Are you going somewhere today?
You're seeing it. I'm
Seymour,
on
what
the
I,
Zoom
if
call.
you're in the same building as Gert Schloff, can you go to her apartment and help her get onto her iPad? Because this tribute is to her and she's on her phone, which
Yeah.
means that we can't see her or hear her.
Oh,
Can you go to her apartment?
I don't know her apartment number even.
What is
No,
her
what's
apartment number, family?
2006.
Is it?
It's next to the
2006.
next to the social worker. Next.
Seymour's
this
gonna go to
works.
her apartment.
So now we're gonna lose Seymour. Oh my
He'll
God.
come back.
Hey, listen,
Okay,
guys.
while we're waiting, for those of you who've just joined in and don't know what's going on here, what's happening here is that you all know that one of Gert's characteristics is that she gets very nervous. And even though she's been doing Zoom with us all summer, all fall and summer, she apparently must have panicked and couldn't get in, and she's on the phone. We're trying to get her off the phone and onto the iPad, because if she's on the phone, we can't see her and we can't have her talk. So Seymour, who lives in her building, is going over to her now to see if he can help her get on her Zoom. So that's what's happening. So while we're waiting, because I mean, this is all about Gert, and I really want Gert to appreciate it. While we're waiting, let me just talk to you a little bit about what's upcoming besides today. And as soon as we can, we'll move into the program for Gert. I do know that, you know, time is important here, and I'm concerned about that, but I'm also concerned about having our guest of honor. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Barbara Weisbart. I am the director of the Senior Adult Program. And today we will be doing a special tribute to Gert. But before we do that, I want to just alert you to some other programs that are coming up.
Okay, Barbara.
This week
Barbara.
we have some really wonderful programming. Tomorrow, we have a professor coming to talk about the Electoral College. Now, I know for years and years and years, we've heard about the Electoral College and how the votes are counted and the difference between the Electoral College and the popular vote. And more there's been talk about, is this still a good idea? Is this still something that is important? Why was it created? How does it affect things? And tomorrow we get a chance to be more educated on that. On Wednesday of this week, Barbara Thomason is going to be doing a program about the Obama portraits. Every president and their wife has a portrait painted that gets kept in the White House or the National Gallery for years and years and years. And the Obama portraits are quite different than some of the other portraits. The artists both had their own visions, and they're going to talk about that. And it just happens, Randy Belfer's husband, Dolly's son, represents the artist who painted Barack Obama's portrait. So he volunteered to see if he could connect us with that artist and see whether we can either have him, come on through screen share for a little while, or whether we can have an interview with him that Barbara Thomason can talk to him a little bit and get his input. So we're trying to do that. If we get to do that, that will be amazing. And then last but not least, on Thursday, we have another author. So we have great programming. Everything is in our Adult Enrichment brochure. This is online. It's on our website. If you don't have it and you want to join our programs, be sure to tell us to add you to our email list. We'd love to have you, and so forth. Any questions from anybody about our programming?
Okay, Barbara.
Yes?
Barbara, I want to talk.
Yes, Nona, I hear you.
Did you hear me?
I hear you, Nona.
Okay, I can't say longer for this time.
We couldn't hear you.
I don't stay longer. Huh?
Okay, well, do the best you
For
can.
this until. Okay, all right, okay.
Just do the
try
best you
to
can. We
listen
understand the
and
people.
see what happens.
Stay as long as you can.
Okay,
Okay,
thank
so
you.
I haven't, I wish I had taken down
Where is
Seymour's cell phone number.
Gert? Where is Gert now? Huh? Okay.
Okay. So you can see that we have some special people joining us. We have Nona on the line. We have Barry here. I see that we have Toporek Vivian, who was her mother and Gert were really, really good friends. So I'm really glad she's with us. All of you who are her family, we're delighted they're here. Family members, can you just introduce yourselves while we're waiting?
Okay, so Barbara, we have friends and family, and I'm sure Gertrude, I know my mother, she's probably very, very upset and embarrassed. So, but these
I'm
things
sure.
happen. They happen with me too. With
all of us.
With my client. So yes, if my friends and family could introduce themselves to Barbara, who's
that would be wonderful.
The JCC. That
Lori, introduce yourself. Start it off.
All right, my name's Lori. I am the proud daughter of Gertrude, and I am here in Boston. And I really, really love my mother's writing and look forward to when things, get together, of sharing some of her writing with you all.
Now, you all will know that when Gert refers to our daughter, she always calls her Lori Rose.
Rose Lori.
Okay,
right.
Who else?
Rose
Who
Lori.
else is there?
Yep. I'll call on people. Marika?
Hi. I introduced myself before as Mama Tunum. So I first met Gertrude in 1973 when I was 4 years old, and I was the flower girl in the wedding of her son Max to my Aunt Barbara. And this is my daughter Sophia, and we are joining you from Delaware.
Welcome.
Great. How about Jackie, Hava Horowitz?
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming. I am Gertrude's granddaughter and the daughter of Lori. And I wish that we had coordinated a little bit better with her prior to this. But
we tried.
She didn't have, she's never used technology for the first 93 years of her life. So
I know, which is so impressive that she learned how to.
You got her.
You got it.
Hey, look.
Oh my God!
Okay, I'll go back to my
Do you know
dinner.
how you did it? I
No.
don't know how I did it.
Oh, yay!
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Seymour.
Don't hang up.
Oh, what a
Okay, I'll see you
wonderful,
later.
wonderful
Just
save.
in case it goes off again.
They're coming.
That
Oh,
is
how
so wonderful. Gert, we're
Hi,
so
Gert.
happy
Hi,
to see
Gert.
you.
How are you?
We're all happy.
It's
all worth it.
Okay.
Okay, since we have Gert, Lori, just quickly introduce the other family members so we know who they are. Will they introduce themselves as they read?
Yeah, so Emma and Jamie, could you introduce yourself?
Yes, hi. I'm Jamie, Gertrude's granddaughter, and this is my daughter, Emma. Hi, Grams.
Oh.
And this
Okay.
is Dylan, but he's and my mom, Barbara. Hi.
Hi.
We're together for Russia. We were together for Rosh Hashanah.
Okay,
Hi.
Deborah and then Mona, could you introduce yourselves?
Hi, no. Hi, Gert. How are you? I love you. Gert. I'm Nona.
Hi, Nona. Okay, Mona, could you?
Mona?
Hi, I'm Mona. I'm also from Boston. And Rose Laurie and I grew up together. And I love you, Mrs. Schlock, and so proud of you and glad to be able to join you today.
Robin Schlaf, could you introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Robin. I am Grams' granddaughter, Jamie's sister.
Okay,
And
now
Mom,
where is Gert's son?
I don't, yeah, we'll have to see him in a second. Hi, Max. Want to introduce
Hi.
yourself?
What?
Introduce yourself.
Max.
Okay.
Gertrude's son.
Okay, great. Mommy, we have a surprise. Michael, Zach, and Maxine are here. Maxine, want to introduce yourself?
I'm Maxine. I'm Gertrude's niece, the daughter of one of her sisters.
Yeah.
Oh, how wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Lori, anybody else?
Yes, a surprise guest, well, several. Michael, Zach, want to introduce yourself?
You're on mute, Michael.
Michael, can you
Mike, we
unmute?
can't hear you. You're on mute. Mike, Zach, you're on mute.
Oh, can
There
you
you
hear me
go.
now?
Okay.
Yes, you're good.
Okay, I am Gertrude's nephew and Laurie's first cousin. My mother and Gertrude were sisters, or are sisters. And Auntie Gertrude, I love you and great to see you. You look wonderful.
Okay.
Okay, is that, Lori, is that everybody?
Diane and then Deborah.
Hi, Gert. Congratulations. I've known you since I've known Laurie in 1987, and I appreciated all the Rosh Hashanah cards you've sent me. They're so beautifully written, and it's so nice to be here.
Okay, and then Deborah. Okay.
Deborah James.
Yeah, she may not be able to. And I want to thank Seymour so much. So
Yes.
round of applause.
Thank you,
Yay,
Seymour.
Go Seymour.
You saved the day.
Thank you.
Deborah.
Okay.
Wonderful woman.
Okay,
I'm
Deborah,
going
are you-
to start the program by saying a few words. I will keep them brief because I know we have a lot of people who we have a lot of things to do today and we're starting a little late, but we got Gert with us and that's the most important thing. We can see her, she can see us, and we can hear her. Thank you, Seymour. It's really not very often that someone reaches a milestone such as 25 years as a senior social adult member. And when I realized that this was Gert's 25th anniversary, that I wanted to honor her and how lucky we are that she is so capable and so bright and so able to enjoy this tribute. So this is a tribute to Gert. Many of you have received some of Gert's notes. There have been some references to them in our conversations. Everyone who's received her note knows that there's two outstanding things about Gert's notes. One is the beautiful way that she expresses herself and how her notes are really so meaningful and so sincere. And two is her handwriting. I mean, I've never seen anybody who's got a handwriting like Gert's. It's so naturally just beautiful. And even as she's aged, her handwriting has stayed beautiful.
Yes.
Gert has performed many different roles in our senior program over the years. She has been a one-person good and welfare committee. She doesn't wait for anybody to ask her. She doesn't need to be appointed that. She does it on her own. If you have ever been out sick or having an issue or whatever, the first one that you will hear from is Gert, who will call you up to see how you are. And those calls are always warm and sincere. She has been our unofficial corresponding secretary. With that beautiful handwriting, if somebody was lucky enough to have a great grandchild or other occasion in their life, I would say to Gert, on behalf of the group, would you please send a note? And she would write these beautiful, beautiful notes to the person. She's been our historian. She knows the history of this group. She knows the directors before I was the director. She knows the names of all the previous members and what they did and who they are and where they are now or how many passed away. She's been our historian. And Gert is just a general caring person. So Gert will always be the one to make sure that if you're putting on your coat and you're struggling, she's the one to help you. If you need a cup of coffee, Gert will make sure that you have that cup of coffee. Even as she's aged, she continues to be the helper to others. And she's just a wonderful, wonderful source of joy to us. And Gert always does all of this with a smile and a sweet, gentle personality. I am personally indebted to Gert because when I first came to the JCC, which is now about 13 years ago in 2007, Gert helped with the transition. Change is not easy for anyone, and change is certainly not easy for seniors. And when a new senior director comes in, each senior director has a little bit of a different vision or idea of how they want to do things. And not everyone, was really eager to do that. For example, one of the changes that I made was that I moved from having everything be kind of auditorium style to having the seminar style, because I wanted us to see each other and to talk in some of the programs. And I mean, lots of people were, we don't do it that way. I was like, well, try it, please. And Gert helped me to get people to be willing to try some new ways, which I really appreciated. Over the years, we have learned much about Gert through her writings. I feel like I really know so much more about Gert than some other members because she has written. And that's part of what we're going to do today, is share some of her writings, which are absolutely positively beautiful. And we have something else really special going on here today. It's not very often that you have a senior program where you have basically the same writing teacher for 25 years. Barbara Buhner is going to be running the writing part of this program. Barbara Buhner and Gert have been together for most of the 25 years. Barbara took a little hiatus for a few years, but then she came right back to us. Almost all of these writings were written under Barbara's direction and Barbara's encouragement. And so it's really a phenomenal thing that we have Barbara Buhner leading this program today. I'm going to turn the program now over to Barbara and to Laurie. So Barbara, you can take it from here.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to meet all you members of Gertrude's family. Hi, Gertrude.
Mom.
Hi, Gertrude. Can you hear me?
Not talk.
Yes. Oh, look at that.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So first I want to say about Gertrude that she's been writing with my classes at the JCC for 25 years. I think I started there in 1994. And I was younger and more energetic, and I taught 2 classes a week at that time. And Gertrude attended every single writing class. And she offered each time an original memoir that she read to the class. She and I have known so many people together who wrote about their life stories. Gertrude always wrote so lovingly about her family and so honestly about her own life experiences. In addition to her own writing, Girt has always been quite a cheerleader for other people, encouraging them always to write about their thoughts and their pasts and share them with us. In fact, her encouragement is what led me to write and publish my own memoir, which I dedicated to the JCCers. What an inspiration you are, Gertrude. You are the kindest person I have ever met. Your generosity of spirit and concern for others are amazing. It's such a pleasure to honor you today. I'm supposed to read 2 stories, but I think I'm only going to read one because of how long it's taken to get started. Is that okay, Lori? What do you think?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I will read The Two Gittels, which is a story very close to Gertrude's heart. And I'm sure you'll see when I read this story. And Gertrude, I hope you're there and can hear me. I know we've read this story many times before. Oh, by the way, if we were in person, I would show you how much Gertrude has written. It's just amazing. Memoir after memoir. I mean, she's got 25 years here worth of writing. Okay, The Two Gittels by Gertrude Schlaf. I still feel very close to my cousin Gittel, even though she's among the angels in heaven. We were both named for the same aunt. In 1945, I was 22, living at home with a loving family, a good job, pretty clothes, many close friends, enjoying movies, bowling, and dating. In 1945, my first cousin, Gittel, 21, was in a sanitarium in Halmstad, Sweden. She had been recently freed from a concentration camp. When we were notified that Gittel Kirchner was alive, the joy and emotions were indescribable. Immediately, it became a team effort on the part of all her relatives in Portland, Maine, to send needed medicine, medical supplies, non-perishable foods, and countless gifts. My employer, Mr. Ebenstein, signed all necessary affidavits that he would financially provide for Gittel in the United States. It was June 1945. Gittel was to live with dear Aunt Ida, who was childless. All our relatives lived within a few blocks from each other, and she would be surrounded with love and caring. We were counting the days of her arrival with such optimism. It was not meant to be. Gittel died on April 1st, 1946, in Sweden, April Fool's Day. She was now, dear God, resting in peace with many of her aunts, uncles, cousins, and friends from Lithuania who perished in the camps. I believe that Gittel's 10 months of freedom, even in the sanitarium, were serene and even happy. She had hope and faith that she would be with us soon. Her beautiful letters in Yiddish attest to that. What would Gittel have been had there been no Hitler? A talented dress designer, another Donna Karen, a loving wife, mother, and grandmother? It's been 50 years, but the thought of what could have been still hurts. The two Gittels would have been loving cousins and good friends. And of course, I just wanted to say one thing about Gertrude. No matter how serious and somber her writing is, she always finds something hopeful to think about, as she does here when she says she had hope and faith that she would be with us. And she imagines that Gittel had some happiness in her months of freedom.
Okay, beautiful. Max?
That is nice, girl. Wonderful.
Max, I'm gonna, my brother wants to say something. I have no idea what he wants to say, but are you there?
Okay.
I thought he had a whole shtick.
He does.
Okay, Max, you need to appear.
I'm here.
Okay, help him, Jamie.
Yes, okay.
Well, no, we see your feet.
My daughter. Is she? Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, go for it.
We're ready for you.
In June 1965, I graduated from Cranford High School and gave a wallet-sized graduation photo of me to my mother. On the back of that photo, I wrote the following. Dear Mommy, all my love to the best mother in the world. You have always been a source of hope and guidance to me. I have made your ideals my ideals. I hope to be a success as a college student and a lawyer. But most of all, I also hope to always make you proud of me. If I fail to do so, I will not have succeeded in anything. I want to make you proud of me all the time and have your kindness and considerations for others, no matter how successful I may become. I hope that you will live to see me marry a Jewish woman and love our children. Love, Matt. Like, remember that?
Yeah.
Thank you, Max. That was so beautiful. And now we're going to hear from Jamie, Gertrude's granddaughter, and Emma, her brilliant and talented great-granddaughter. Jamie, what's your story?
Okay, Emma and I are going to swap, and I am going to read. Sorry, we are on a phone, so it's not ideal. I'm going to read Mama in the Police Station. From my early childhood, my parents owned a grocery store in Portland, Maine. After my father's death in 1939, my 3 sisters and I helped my mother as much as we could in the store. We were open 7 days a week. The hours were horrendous. 6 a.m. until 10 p.m. Shabbos was our only day of rest when Joe, a young orphan Gentile friend, took over for us. Later, he was to become a valued member of our family until his induction into World War II. In addition to groceries, we were licensed to sell beer. There was another grocery store which came into being 2 years after ours, which was only a few doors away and owned by Mrs. Katz. After graduation from high school, I worked as a bookkeeper at the woman's shop. It was on a Friday afternoon in August 1944 that I received a hysterical phone call from my sister Eleanor. My mother had been arrested for selling beer to a minor who, in a drunken stupor, had robbed and insulted our competitor, Mrs. Katz. In addition, he had severely injured Mrs. Katz by throwing her down the store basement steps. Eleanor went on to say that Mama, in her house dress and apron, busy cooking and baking for the Sabbath, flour on her face, was put into a paddy wagon and taken away to the police station. Mama begged the officer to allow her to go into her taxi, but he claimed he could not. By that time, both sides of Lancaster Street were lined with neighbors and customers, staring and glaring at my mother's humiliation. They were not only customers, but had become friends. Over the years, my parents had extended them countless credit. In many cases, they had not paid their bills. My employer, Mr. Ebenstein, told me to go to the station immediately, which was 10 minutes away. He would send his attorney there as soon as possible. I practically ran to the police station. It was hot, my face beat red. Inside were 4 policemen playing cards and my mother, forlorn, sitting in the corner. My anger exploded and I yelled, "How dare you arrest my mother on circumstantial evidence?" To which one of the officers replied, "Listen, lady, your mother is behaving. If you don't shut up, I'll put you in the brig." My mother whispered, "Please, Gertrude, don't say anything more." Mr. Cohen, the attorney, arrived and arranged bail for $1,500. Mama was released. A few days later, the lawyer began to prepare us for the trial. 3 of us were old enough to sell beer, but the concern was for my sister Bernice, then 17. My mother's sisters, Rose, Eleanor, Bernice, and I were 99% sure that we had never seen this young man or sold him beer. We had lost our beer license. We felt ill, frightened, and consumed with worry. The day of the trial finally arrived. We were exhausted from the pre-trial preparation. The 5 of us sat in the first row and silently prayed. Our attorney questioned the criminal. How much beer did you buy from Max Rilnick's store? He replied, I can't remember. Was it a pint, quart, or more? Can't remember. What brand? Can't remember. The judge dismissed the case for lack of evidence. Mr. Cohen's fee was $125, which my good and caring employer insisted on paying. All's well that ends well. Not quite. We were deeply hurt by the reactions of our customers. Emotionally, we paid a very high price.
Thank you. That was quite a story. Mom, I'm glad you didn't end up in the brig with your mother. And the beautiful and talented Emma. And Emma, what's your story?
Mrs. S. Mrs. S. Atrocious.
Atrocious floaters were dancing in front of my eyes, making my bookkeeping job ever so difficult. At 65, the message came through loud and clear. It's time to retire. What next? I pondered over that question and decided to become a babysitter. My ad in the Cranford Chronicle read, loving grandmother wants to babysit, needs transportation. What I really had in mind was to babysit for little girls made of sugar and spice and everything nice and toilet trained, of course. The phone rang incessantly. But lo and behold, they were all mothers of boys, and I invited them individually to my home so they could all check me out and vice versa. Safety first was always my motto, so I had to eliminate babysitting in homes being remodeled or those which had rickety front steps. Into my home came Gertrude. Apple, with 3 sons in tow. They presented me a beautiful box of candy decorated for Valentine's Day. The boys must have been thoroughly coached, for they behaved like angels and enjoyed the cookies and milk. I chose the Apple family because they live nearby and I could easily walk there. The father was a fireman and the mother an executive secretary. The union of a Jewish grandmother. Devout Catholic family was very ecumenical. We crept into each other's hearts. I was called Mrs. S and had many obstacles to overcome. For instance, boys, please eat your snacks in the kitchen instead of the living room. Please take off your uniforms. Please share the cookies. Isn't it time to do your homework? Guess who had to compromise? Mrs. S, of course. Robert, then 4, loved the poems of Shel Silverstein, and we would walk to the park together, hand in hand, reciting poetry. Peter, 7, was stubborn and headstrong, but so talented in art and inventions. It was a constant tug of war with Peter, but we were close. EJ, Edward John, 10, was mature for his age and very protective of his youngest brother. He would often settle disputes with the boys where I feared to tread. I mustn't forget Sparky, their dog, who loved me and I him. The birds, Gracie Allen and George Burns, the hamsters, turtles, goldfish, etc., etc. EJ and Peter now are students at St. Joseph High School in Metuchen. Robert is in 7th grade. When I was ready to move from Cranford to Clark, EJ and Peter did much of the packing. Their father helped me too, and I made a difficult moving experience less taxing. The memories are many and joyful. The communions and confirmations, the games we played, the movies we saw, fun in the park. May the future hold many blessings for the Apple family. My 4 years of Mrs. S was a blessing indeed.
That's beautiful.
Thank you, Emma.
Mom, just take 30 seconds. Anything you want to say, and then we're going to go on with stellar readers, Marika and my daughter, Jacqueline Hava. Mom, anything you want to say right now?
I just want to give a little tribute to Barbara. To quote our teacher, Barbara Buda, writing is kind of a meditation of its own, a tonic for the spirit. I want to thank Barbara for so many years of just enjoying her classes. She was there before me, and I hope she will be there for many, many more years so others can enjoy her.
Thank you, Gertrude. Thank you very much. I think about the line that Emma just read from your paper where you said, we crept into each other's hearts when you took that job as Mrs. S. And that's exactly what you have done. You have crept into our hearts. And we appreciate you. We all love you. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That's beautiful, Barbara. And thank you for coming into my mother's life, because without you, we wouldn't have all these treasures. And my friend Diane just said, put it into a book. Gertrude, one of her stories has already been honored by Hadassah. It was in their 100th anniversary book. So anyway, let's hear from stellar readers. Marika, do you want to go first, and then Jacqueline?
Absolutely. So this is just perfect because I'm going to read the story that appeared in the Hadassah publication, and it's called The Courtship, Thanks to Hadassah by Gertrude Schlock. At my age of 88, people still ask, how did you meet? When they hear that I, a young woman from Portland, Maine, ended up marrying a man from Newark, New Jersey, they can't help but think what a long journey that was back in those days. Let me tell you how. It's July 1946, and as president of my Portland, Maine chapter, I'm an excited delegate to the Junior Hadassah Convention at the Breakers Hotel on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Can you picture the scene? Hundreds of young women from every state in the United States are gathered for kosher meals, learning and love of Hadassah. A gala dance is one of the weekend events. The only challenge is that the ratio is 20 girls to every man. Lo and behold, I was asked to dance, and his name tag read Milton Schlaf. My first impression was that he was somewhat bald and wore old-fashioned rimmed glasses. That was all forgotten. He led me to the dance floor. Milton loved to dance, and I later learned he was an Arthur Murray graduate. Milton was fascinated by the fact that I had come from a kosher home in Maine and was devoted to Hadassah. He asked for my address, hoping we would become pen pals. Within a week, I received my first letter from this stranger, Milton Schlaf. His letters were well written, interesting, and funny. I assumed he had a dictionary at his fingertips because there was never a misspelled word. This correspondence went on for 2 months. I felt it was a waste of time, but Milton wasn't giving up. He sent me a 2-pound box of taffy kisses from Atlantic City and wrote that he was so proud to know a junior Hadassah president. This sweet gesture deserved a thank you note, and so our letter writing began again. A few months later, Milton boarded the state of Maine, an 8-hour overnight train ride to Portland. There was no Acela then. He was a sightseeing addict. I saw more of Portland and the surrounding islands through his eyes than in all of my 22 years. Of course, I proudly showed off our Jewish community center, where I led Hadassah. Needless to say, Milton charmed my mother and 3 sisters. After many one-day visits to Portland, heavens, he would never have stayed over in those days, Milton won my heart. The taffy kisses became real ones. After a short long-distance courtship, we were married on November 10th, 1946 in Boston. I once saw a plaque on a park bench with a caption, "Let's grow old together, for the best is yet to be." Milton and I celebrated our 48th anniversary the year before he died. His last note to me was dated February 14th, 1995. It read, "Dearest Gertrude, I went bananas the moment I met you, Milton." On that hot summer day in 1946, the 2 loves of my life, Milton and Hadassah, became one. I still have and treasure every letter, card, and note from Milton. They are safe in my drawer, along with my Woman of the Year award from Hadassah. Rest in peace, dearest Milton. And thank you, Hadassah, for being my lifetime inspiration and bringing Milton along, of course.
That was beautiful, Marika.
Wow.
And the other thing it shows is how romantic my dad was. He clearly, no offense, Mom, was the more romantic of the 2 of you. Okay, Jacqueline, my daughter, what's your story?
So the story I'm going to read is The Wedding Gown. There was overwhelming joy and excitement in our home in May 1941. Our eldest daughter, Rose, our oldest sister, Rose, was to be married on the 31st. Our brother-in-law to-be was special, almost perfect for our sister. Rose's wedding gown was simple but beautiful. Soft jersey with long sleeves, high neckline, and from the waist down, a skirt of organdy. There was so much love at the wedding. No angry relatives, no seating complaints. All the guests were content to be at the union of 2 wonderful people. We were 4 sisters who shared just about everything, including bedrooms and clothes. I was next to share Rose's gown, wearing at my Portland High graduation, class of 1941. Carrying a bouquet of peonies, marching with my classmates to the music of Mendelssohn, I felt like royalty, at least a princess. The gown was then packed away, protected by layers of tissue paper. World War II was to change everyone and everything. Rose's husband, Irving, was sent to Europe and served in the infantry. Our concern for his safety was uppermost in our thoughts. Irving was wounded, awarded the Purple Heart for bravery, and thank God returned home. My sister Eleanor became engaged to Sam, who served in the Merchant Marines for the length of the war. Their wedding in February 1945 was beautiful. For the 3rd time, Rose's gown was. Eleanor and Sam will celebrate their 52nd anniversary in 1997. My marriage date was November 10th, 1946. For the 4th time, the gown would be worn. The gown had become a loving link from Rose to Eleanor to me. Again, they are packed away, never to be worn again. I was the matchmaker for my younger sister, Bernice. Rose urged her to buy a new wedding gown, and she was a radiant bride. Bernie and Jack recently celebrated their 49th anniversary.
Bernice.
On Pearl Harbor Day, December 1947, my sister Rose died during surgery at the age of 32. She is our guardian angel. In loving memory, I named our daughter Rose Laurie.
Who is she?
She's my youngest granddaughter.
Oh, I see.
Oh, okay, that was.
This one's. daughter. And does she come here to see you?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was very, very touching.
Rudy, is that Olga with you?
Mommy, Olga's with you. She can get into the
Let's
camera.
see Olga. We never see her anymore.
Olga is with me.
What, does she want to show herself?
You want to Olga says hello to everybody.
Okay, so now we don't have too much time. Let's open the floor, the virtual floor. Does anyone want to say a memory or something about Gertrude?
Hello?
Hi, Deborah.
Hello? Oh, you can hear me.
Yes, do you want to say something about Gertrude?
I have come to love your mom. I am indirectly related to one of her dearest friends, Honey. And not indirectly, it's my brother's grandmother-in-law. And Gertrude, you have become such a good friend, a caring, loving person, and you've given me much joy. Really enjoyed developing a relationship with you, although I'm in pain and this is over the phone. I only wish you many, many good, joyous moments and a happy, healthful New Year.
Thank you, Deborah. That's beautiful. Does anyone else, especially folks we haven't heard from, want to say something about Gertrude or a memory?
Lori?
Hi, Carol.
Hi, my sister's on there too. Antoinette, Tony, Gertrude,
Oh.
Carol and Tony are here.
Okay. All right, go ahead. Yep.
Yeah.
What would you like to share?
Antoinette,
Thank you, Antoinette. I see you. And Tony. Well,
just who we are. My mom, Catherine, worked with Gertrude at Schlecter's Hardware in Garwood for many years, I guess back in the late 70s, early 80s. So they were best friends. My mom loved her, and we got to know Gertrude and love her, and we keep in touch. And Gertrude, congratulations.
beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sisters are here. Okay, we have time for one or two more people. Who's this now?
Vivian would like to talk.
Vivian, okay. Vivian, she needs to unmute.
Vivian, unmute yourself, sweetheart.
Okay.
Vivian, you need to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. To Gertrude, I would like to, this is Vivian. Thank you so much for being such a great friend to my mother. She adored you. We adore you. And your years together in Clark were very special. She looked at you like a sister, and often she told me that you looked at her as a sister. Thank you for everything that you did for her and for bringing her into the JCC. I love you.
That's beautiful. We have time for one more person.
Barry,
Phyllis?
do you want to share something about what you and Gert did together? Phyllis, go ahead while Barry's getting her head together. Phyllis,
My
unmute
mother
yourself.
came from Long Island and came to the JCC and became friends with Gertrude. Then many years later, when I joined the JCC and I met Gertrude, Gertrude would always make me smile and make me cry by telling me a lovely story about my mother. And I love you, Gertrude. Many, many more happy years together.
Barry, you want to tell about the wonderful project you and Gert did together?
Sure. So Gertrude and I met when I was teaching art at the JCC and at DBI in the summertime. And Gertrude and I created quite a friendship. We speak regularly every single Friday. Sometimes the calls last 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Sometimes they last close to an hour. And we try to save the world. We talk about everything that could possibly be going on in each other's lives. And we have a very, very special, loving friendship that I cherish dearly.
And Barry helped Gert to create a beautiful, beautiful scrapbook, which will, of course, be something that her family will always treasure. So it's really an amazing scrapbook of memories of a life well lived.
It's a good way to put it. So as we end, I want to say that I want to wish everybody to, stay well. I know these are challenging times. I'm so glad that the JCC is able to help people continue to be a community. I want to thank from the bottom of my heart the Barbaras, Allison, everyone who's made my mother's experience a huge part of her life at this stage of her life. And of course, I want to extend my love to my mom, who I talk to very frequently. And we end every conversation. She says, I love you. And I say, I love you too.
I'd like to, thank you, Lori. I'd like to present Gert with a gift from the JCC. Gert, I was trying to think about what we, the JCC, could give you as a gift, because you have given such a lovely, lovely gift to all of us by your leadership and your presence and your smile and your being a part of us for such a long time. But it was not easy to come up with a gift idea for you, because you're a very, very practical person. And I kind of had a feeling that if I sent you flowers, you'd say, oh, this is kind of a waste of money. I'm just here in this apartment by myself. And anyway, I think we came up with something that I'm really proud to give you. In honor of your 25 years as a member of the Senior Social Program, we'd like to give you a complimentary membership for 1 year, well deserved. And so for the next year, please do not send in your dues payment. You will be a member. You will be our first complimentary member, maybe the only time we'll ever have a complimentary member, because I don't know how many of us will reach 25 years. But we are so delighted for you to have this special honor. And we are so delighted that everyone has been able to share with us today. Special recognition to her daughter, Lori, and all of her family. Lori absolutely took a leadership role in putting this together. Barbara Butner, you are amazing. You have given us such joy in terms of getting our seniors to be able to write and share their memories. It's through these stories that I have learned so much about our members. And Gert, certainly when we all get back together, what I like to do is run off a lot of these stories and produce a book, not a formal book, but a book of them, so that we can share them with everyone else. If we were all there in person, I would have had that to give out today, but we're not there in person. But your writings have given us such an insight into you and the life that you have led. Barbara, thank you for doing that. Thank you for your many, many, many years of leadership in this program. And thank you to everyone else. Gert, do you want to say anything?
I want to say Lashana Tova to everyone on Zoom, and to wish that you be inscribed in the book of life, that you be healthy, happy, contented, and be kind. Be kind.
And Gert, as I say to you all the time, may we all be blessed in aging as gracefully and as well as you have. May our minds stay as alert as yours has, and may our spirits stay as lovely and beautiful as yours has. And so I wish that for all of us. You're a wonderful, wonderful role model and have been an absolute inspiration to this group. I have often said that groups have personalities just like people. And our group is known to be a very warm and kind group, but it partially has to do with those who take the leadership roles in the group, and you have helped to set that tone. So we are so indebted to you. And Seymour, thank you for saving the day. This certainly would not have been the same if we couldn't see Gert's pretty face and her lovely smile. Would anybody like to add anything before we leave?
Amen to what you said. Amen to all that you have said about her. She's loved by every one of us. We love her so much. We can't wait to see her in person, but we're thrilled that we get to see her on Zoom.
Beautiful, Dolly.
Yes.
Okay, all, then we
Bye, Gertrude.
thank you for
Bye.
participating. We thank you for making this a very, very special day, for touching our hearts. And we look forward to sharing other happy occasions. It's really meaningful to share happy occasions. And we will see all of you hopefully tomorrow with a program on the Electoral College. Thank you all.
Awesome.
So I wanted to
Thank you.
say thanks,
Bye.
Gert, for being
Thank
so
you.
cheerful and welcoming everybody on the bus. From the very first day I traveled the bus with you, you were greeting me and chatting with me, and whoever else was new or wasn't there for a while, you would know and greet them, and thank
Gert has always been our greeter and our person who made everybody feel welcome.
Yes. Thank you, Gert.
Thank you, Gert.
Talk to you later. Bye, Mom.
Okay, and so
Thank you, Gert, for being Gert.
Lori, I did record this, so I'll get that to you.
Oh, wow.
Perfect.
This was
Thank you,
wonderful.
Gert.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
Bye.
Bye,
everyone.
This was
Bye, everyone.
beautiful.
Love you.
Just
Bye, everybody.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Bye. Nice meeting all of you. Beautiful. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Bye-bye.
Beautiful, beautiful.